Welcome everyone, Adam the Woo here as a recording of this Saturday, the last day of May, Saturday, May 31st, 2025, starting off here, backside of Art Deco 7-Eleven here in Celebration, Florida. Got my piping hot caffeinated beverage, Mike Dirnt's Turn Up the Bass Green Day roast, which they have almost every time I'm in here, they're out of it. But today, I got lucky enough to try it. Oh, it got a little Mike Dirnt flavor right there. Bass player of Green Day. One of the reasons is to really be influenced by the early era of that band, way back in the day. You know, Kerplunk, Dookie, up to Warning, Somniac, Nimrod. Loved those albums. When I started playing bass, I used to pick up the bass guitar and play along with Warning off the Warning album. It was one of the first songs I ever learned. And Geek Stink Breath was the first ever song that I learned to play on bass guitar. So cheers to you, early era Mike Dirnt. Look at this. It always reminds me of that scene from Frankenstein where it's like on the shoreline of the lake there and he finds the little girl. I don't know why it gives me that. It gives me that thought process. Today, I am heading over to St. Pete to Tropicana Field, of course, the Tampa Bay Rays. I am wearing an appropriate hat, but it's on backwards. The Rays are not in town. They are currently in Houston. Last night they lost to the Astros 2-1. The day before that, they annihilated the Astros, so that the series is tied up. They are not playing at Tropicana Field, even if they were here in Central Florida, or Florida. They're playing over at Steinbrenner Field. But there is a heavy, strong rumor. I think there might have even been an announcement that in future years, maybe next year or the year after, I don't think it'll happen next year, the Rays will be playing again at Tropicana Field. And I haven't been there in a long time. They're having a huge yard sale in the parking lot of Tropicana Field. So I'm heading over there. Hopefully I-4 westbound is kind. This is a long intro. I'm going to get moving. I'm inviting you to join me. Look at this. It's an appropriate t-shirt right here. Grim Reaper pouring a cup of Joe. Join me. Let's get over to St. Pete. Also might hit some record stores over there and some thrift shops. Who knows where the day leads? Join me. Shall you? Whoa, is this true? An hour and 16 minutes? What the heck? I mean, it is a Saturday and it's only 10:45, so to be a couple hours before traffic starts to get a little bumper to bumper. Also, they have widened I-4 westbound from the Celebration I-4 interchange where the Mickey Power Pole is, from 3 lanes to 4 lanes once you get a couple miles down past 27, and then it starts to bottleneck again. That could be why, but I think it's just because it's a Saturday morning and it's not after the hour of noon yet. I'm going to try to get, if I can get over there in an hour and a 15, let's say even an hour and a half, that would be maybe the best time ever. I'm for it. Let me get moving. On a normal day, a normal weekday, about 2.5 hours, well, 2 hours, let's call it 2 hours. On a really bad day, if traffic's backed up, 2.5 hours. But even on a good day, it's usually 2 hours. So I will take an hour and 15, let's call it an hour and a half commute, Mickey Powerball. I'll take it. Let's do this. Doesn't say anything about rain or shine, just says Tropicana Field Charity Yard Sale today, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., Lot 7. I don't know how the weather might affect it though. We'll see. Uh-oh, little bit of a bottleneck, little bit of a slowdown in Plant City. Don't get discouraged, Big the Foot. It's just a little slowdown. I think we're still on par for the time it said it would take. Possibly. I think it's just this little section. We'll see. We'll see. Second backup is over here, getting through the Ybor Tampa corridor. Still on par to make it there in about an hour and a half, which is not bad. Only a couple backups. We're passing through Ybor now. Tampa skyline over there. I'm gonna be going past Tampa though. I'm on my way to St. Petersburg. Across the Bay Bridge. I've been over it in a while. Yeah, that's quite the sight over there. Tropicana Field with no roof. Torn off last year during the hurricane. Well, this is a fundraiser for the Trop. And look at that. So the rumor mill says that next year the Rays are going to be playing back at Tropicana Field. I don't feel like that's going to happen. If I was a betting man, I'd say they're going to be at Steinbrenner again next year. They're probably going to do one more year at Steinbrenner and then figure it out from there, but who knows?
They're all out of everything.
They're out of everything?
That's what someone told us. They're all out.
Okay.
I see people walking out with no bags.
All right, thank you. I was just told they're out of everything. It's supposed to go till 2. It is 12:17. Took me an hour and a half. So I guess they're out of everything. It's supposed to go till 2, but good turnout. Not really looking for anything in particular. I just wanted a reason to come over to the Trop again. This whole parking lot is so full. That is great that this many people are turning out. I guess they had a deal that you could buy a $20 Rays bag and fill the whole thing up with whatever merchandise they had. Pretty good deal. I'll check it out either way. Still going on till 2. It's only 12:18. Made it all the way over here, so why not? There's a record store not far from here too that I might go check out. Yeah, all this traffic is bringing back memories of all the games at the Trop I went to after they were over, trying to get the mass exodus out of here. There's also some very strong speculation that there's some people in Orlando that are throwing their hat into the ring to try to move the Rays over to Orlando. I would be 100% on board for that, just because I live closer to Orlando than I do to Tampa St. Pete. To say they're out of everything is completely an understatement. I mean, everything, all the merchandise, anything part of the garage, yard, parking lot sale has been erased from existence. There's nothing left at all. Now, they're still continuing the event until 2 p.m. They do have some people out making little balloon animals to give to people. They were still selling tickets. I guess part of the $20 all you can take in, all you can shove in a bag deal came with a free hot dog, or maybe they're selling the hot dogs. I was noticing people had little tickets that you could get in a line, show the ticket that you purchased the bag deal, and you also got hot dogs and a bag of chips, or a hot dog and a bag of chips. I did not partake of that, but the line for the hot dog, the Trop dog, was really, really lengthy. Again, good to see a good turnout for the merchandise. Kind of interesting because a lot of times during Rays games when they were here at the Trop, people didn't really show up in droves to see the team. I mean, they're showing up pretty good at Tropicana Field just because it's not Tropicana, but Steinbrenner, just because it's a different experience. But if you went to a lot of games, unless they were playing the Red Sox or the Yankees or one of the more mainstream MLB teams, you'd see a good crowd at the Trop. But on a normal night, if they were playing another team that it wasn't a big market team, then the Trop was definitely not full. But this seems to be a pretty hectic event. People showed out in masses to buy the merchandise. I don't even know how much merchandise there was, so I'm just throwing my opinion out there. But yeah, interesting to see the Trop again right here. Again, I don't know if they're going to be playing in there next year. They say they are, but then what's going to happen in a few years when the lease is up on this and they have to tear this down anyway? So originally the way it worked is the last game of 2027 season was going to be the last game in Tropicana Field. They were going to play here till end of 27, and they were going to build the stadium, I think, like in the parking lot, and then after a year of that, they were going to tear that down. The hurricane messed all that up. The stadium saga continues and completely was altered. They announced that they're not going to be building a new stadium right here. There's some announcement that maybe they were going to move out of the state, go to other areas. Then there's some heavy announcements about them maybe moving to Tampa, and then also in the recent months that they might move to Orlando. There's a company or there's an organization called the Orlando Dreamers that wants to again, throw their hat in the ring. They obviously probably would be the Orlando Rays, not the Orlando Dreamers, but again, I would be all for that because, you know, I'm close to there. And I think it'd be a nice little change of pace, and they'd be kind of in a new area. So you get people driving over from Tampa, then you get people from Orlando, you get some of the tourists that are going to the parks that think, you know, my team's playing the Rays. Why don't I go over and see my team as well, which will bring more people in as well. It's kind of like the same scenario as what, you know, formerly Oakland A's, now just the Athletics, playing in Sacramento for the next few years. They're going to move to Vegas, and that's kind of be the market kind of for Vegas. You get people going to Vegas, and they can go see the team that they root for. If they're in town in Vegas, they can pop over to the Vegas stadium to see the Vegas A's versus whoever else. I think that could work in Orlando. Again, I'm just spitballing here and just throwing out my thoughts, but speaking out loud. It's also interesting, there's a lot of people still walking in, thinking that the Fan Fest flea market is still underway. It's 12:41 right now, an hour and 20 minutes till it's supposed to end, and it's pretty much over. Early bird gets the worm, and I was not the worm today. I got here halfway during the event, and it's over. All right, moving on. Let me go to the record store. Let me get an umbrella first out of my car. Be the person your dog thinks you are. Pick up their poop. All right, got the umbrella here just in case I need it. I'm gonna walk past Tropicana Field and go over to Ferg's, which was kind of the local hangout spot for anyone that was going to Rays games. And I would imagine, because the Rays are now playing over in Tampa at Steinbrenner home games, Ferg's has to be hurting. I'm sure they're really bummed about this whole thing, because that was a majority of their business was on game days. All the ticket holders and fans from away games would go over to Ferg's over here in the corner. So I'll pop by Ferg's and see what's going on. Getting a nice little view also as I'm walking over to Ferg's, kind of a close-up of the railings and the banisters on the upper area. If a foul ball hit it, it always changed the gameplay a little bit. Don't have that issue over at Steinbrenner now, just playing outdoors, but it's always interesting when the balls would hit the rafters and things. And then panning over across, still got Yandy here, Raise Up Yandy Diaz right over here as well. So people have kind of tagged their name on Yandy's chest and on his shoulder there. But this is on the other side of the street from Ferg's. I'll walk over here and check it out. He says right here, look at this, you see the little green banner here. It almost looks like a golf putting green. And then it has the word Ferg's written across it. Looks like the fence is still falling over from the hurricane. I don't know what's going on over. Anything going on over here as well? Oh, over here, there's like a little classic car over here. Hold on a second. Look at this. Classic car alert right here next to this Coca-Cola. Oh no, it's a Budweiser can. But you got classic car right over here next to this this beer can. Yeah, so it's not just the stadium itself, you know, that's hurting from the fact that the hurricane did the damage, but also places that rely on business from people who go to the stadium. See the stadium right over there. You walk either across the road or through a little tunnel, and you got the Ferg, the world famous Ferg's. The iconic liquor store drive-in stood originally at the corner of 16th and Central for over 50 years in '61. It was constructed from a Globe and 1950s furniture store, refurbished and located here to preserve its heritage, to keep its heritage illuminated. Moved here in 2019. And I would say less baseball fans are probably seeing it now that the Rays currently, now again, some say next year the Rays will be back in here. I am not one of those people saying that. I think it's going to probably be another year. If I was a betting man, my opinion would be that the Rays are going to be at Steinbrenner again next year. I feel like the Yankees are going to let the Rays use that stadium one more year until it gets all figured out. But yeah, what do I know? Just again, thinking out loud. Was like up here too. Not a lot of people out. Like all the little stands right there selling the Rays stuff. No one's out selling anything. Ferg's is open for business if you want to get a adult beverage or a burger or anything like that. I do like this big boy right here. This Bob's Big Boy or Frisch's Big Boy. One of the big boys holding the burger. I always like seeing this. Oh wow! Last time I was over in this area, time sure flies. They were building these condos here above the little circular starburst, whatever this is called. Tampa J once told me that they refer to this as the St. Pete Beehole. You know what the B stands for. Oh, there's some Rays banners down the road too. Yeah, Tampa J, leaving Florida. He'll be back. He'll be back a lot. I'm sure I'll see him just as much as I ever did. He'll be back for, you know, Universal, Disney, Rays games, Central Florida stuff, haunt stuff. It's going to be weird not having Tampa J and Tampa St. Pete residing, though. I miss that guy. Again, I'll see him probably just as much, if not more. I'm still going to see him just as much. There's a knocked over cone, but yeah. Yeah, this is a shop called Full Court St. Pete. They have an I Miss the Trot custom made shirt here for $42. Oh, I wonder if they have them in here. Cinderella. Just vintage shirts, snake bite. You can get yourself a I Miss the Trot shirt if you want them. They'll make one for you. I won't even think about bringing an e-scooter or an e-bike on these sidewalks. Not through here. According to that sign, St. Pete, they don't allow it. But they do allow lots of great murals. There's a cat, a dog on that one. I always like this one. You got Felix there. You got a wacky Donald. You got a couple wacky Donalds. You got regular Donald here, non-wacky Donald. Then you got more than wacky Donald with a paintbrush going through his eye right here. Then you got Garfield with 3 eyes. He took some of Donald's eyes. Well, he took one of Donald's eye. I don't know. Donald's other eye is right here in this little pyramid. Goofy has quite a third eye. Okay, picking up a theme here with the different eyes. Yeah, this is a brand new building right there. So, well, new to me, at least since I've been over here. Well, it's kind of nice walking through, you know, been walking through St. Pete a little bit, seeing everyone with Rays hats and shirts and all that on. Kind of getting the vibe back over near Tropicana, even though there's no game. I kind of wish I was going to, I feel like I'm going to a game today, but they're playing in Houston today. And all the times I've been over here, I've never been inside this record store right here. It's called Planet Retro. In fact, this is maybe the first time I've been back in St. Pete since I bought a record player. I had a record player in the 90s, collected a lot of punk rock stuff. Don't ask me what happened to all that stuff from back in the 90s, but recently, now that I bought a house, I've been purchasing records again. It's fun. So I'm gonna buy some records over here at this vintage store, which has shirts, DVDs, books. There's some vinyl on the windows there. Planet Retro. There you go, Planet Retro right there. It has the, oh, it's almost like the solar system where it's like the ring around a planet except it's ring around a record player. And they are open. All right, I got 2 albums. I wish, not always, but a majority of the time I try to buy albums in areas where I have memories of seeing certain bands, or if a certain group or musician artist has an album cover that's filmed in a town. Did not go the album cover route, but I went with 2 bands that I saw in this area on more than one occasion. And I got a rare pressing, a test pressing from a band called Pink Lincolns, which I saw many, many times. They used to open up for every band you could think of over at the State Theater just down the road. Test pressing on Jailhouse Records. And I was in a band that was on Jailhouse Records for a while, so kind of a nice little tie-in. I was in a band called TNT. The new threat we were on Jailhouse. I also bought an AFI album. Love old school AFI. Early AFI was so good. Oh my god. I mean, I like the newer stuff too, but I saw AFI in a little tiny place called The Refuge. I saw a lot of bands there. Ignite there, Straight Face, but I saw AFI and I bought an AFI album, and I'll show where I saw them back in the mid to late 90s, right over here. Yeah, there's the Split CD. Split Series Volume 1, I think that was 2007. We toured, put the Split out on Jailhouse Records right there. Non-existent record label, still currently. So everything's pretty rare now. I don't know if he ever put out vinyl. I should buy vinyl from a band I used to be in. That'd be kind of fun, but I bought Pink Lincolns today. Great band from this coast, the Tampa Bay area, Tampa St. Pete area. Our logo is pretty neat. It was like a skull. Yeah, first tour I ever did was with this Our Time band, 2007, with it was a Jailhouse Records tour. Two names, Mocha Joe's and The Refuge. I think it was two different ones. I do not remember what the address was, but it was in one of these. It was in one of these little places right here was where I used to see concerts in the 90s. I believe it was like right over in here, because I do remember some of the bands would pull up their vans here to load in. So this spot here kind of looks familiar. And I feel as if it was this spot right here. There's a church here. And some other little spots. Yeah, The Refuge. Saw many, many bands right in here. Including AFI, which was an amazing show. Probably 97, 96. Maybe this is it. This looks like where it would have been. It's either this spot here or the next spot right over here. This feels like that was it. Yeah, it was just like a little stage, little tiny stage. Band would load in. This is this address, 350. So it could have been 350. Again, this looks familiar. So it's somewhere in here was The Refuge. And I bought an album at a record store right down there, right next to where I saw the band. And it was a year or two before Black Sails on the Sunset came out, but they didn't have Very Proud of You on album in there, which would have been probably the tour I saw them on, Nitro Records. Again, it could have been the one on the end, it could have been this one. It could have been that one, but yeah, got a little AFI album, love early AFI, so good. And then I got the test pressing, no artwork, no liner notes, no cover, no back cover, no track listing. Test pressing, Pink Lincolns, for their first album, re-released from Jailhouse Records, circa 2009, perhaps? Again, no artwork or anything on it, but yeah, got the Pink Lincolns. They haven't been around, they haven't played a show in over a decade, and I don't even know if all the members are even still around, or any of them are still around anymore, but AFI, I believe, still play shows. They're great. This is the 25th anniversary. Oh, and it's on neon orange vinyl. Nice. I don't mind that. I like colored vinyl. This is a great album. The first 4 or 5 AFI albums were just untouchably good. All right, I looked it up. I found a couple old flyers. I believe it's now where the Artisan is. 328 MLK Drive, Martin Luther King Drive. Back then, it was 9th Street North. And they still got some stickers here. 328 MLK. Inside this little building, right here. This is inside the old Refuge music venue right here. You've been here 14 years?
Yes.
And it was a dance studio. Very cool. Yeah, that would have been the front door right there. I don't know where the stage would have been, but a lot of bands played in here.
I also heard that these two buildings used to be one.
Oh, they may have built like the wall there.
Yeah.
It was a bigger building.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. All right, so best I can tell, it might have even stretched over to there too. It might have been that wall taken down or this wall taken down. It might have been this whole chunk, but man, wow. Yeah, I saw Ignite in there also. I'm trying to think who else I saw in there. To be honest, I probably saw Pink Lincolns in there also. I saw a lot of bands. Straight Face. Oh my gosh, I love Straight Face. The original album, the first album I had was Broken by Straight Face. Fearless Records, before Fearless Records kind of turned into the label it is now, with more kind of melodic, hardcore, emo-y type of pop punky stuff. They had Straight Face, and the Straight Face got signed to Epitaph. And then the singer quit, the band broke up, and I don't even think Epitaph Records even talks about or even has their albums anymore. There's a retro antique store here, or the record store. Also, serious classic car alert right there. The Refuge was down there. record store right here. How did I miss this when I was walking over to the refuge? Turns out after perusing around in there, a lot of great stuff. Come to find out that the same person that owns Planet Retro also owns Retrotiques. Not Retro Antiques, Retrotiques. A couple things that I had my eye on. Some of them I expected to be a little less in price, so put back. But I found a couple good deals on a couple tikis, so I got a couple of tiki things, put on some shelving near my dining room kitchen area, where I have some shelves that already have some tikis on, so. Retrotiques for the win. Really great stuff inside there. Really great stuff inside there and inside Planet Retro. Classic car alert everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but a lot of classic car alerts out here. Along MLK, formerly 9th Street. See what else I can find. I should have known both places have the same owner because they're using the same bags. There's my tikis, there's my records. Corner of Burlington and MLK. This old church building still stands here. The lot next to it's been torn down. I do not believe this congregation is utilizing the building anymore, or if it's even an active congregation. I see some broken windows, boards on the windows, etc. There's the church bell there, the bell tower with no bell anymore. A former piece of history just sitting here rotting away. Downtown St. Pete. There's a beautiful old Ford right here. Twin beam. Twin I-beam. Old red Ford. It's beautiful. I also picked up a Planet Retro Black Cat t-shirt here. St. Pete. And these are the little tiki guys. Kind of like it. We got the Easter Island version there. Got the wooden carving version there as well. It's windy. I'm liking this wind though, to be honest. You like the wind, cat? Moved my car over to this parking garage closer to the bay, about a mile closer than it was over at Tropicana Field, where all the cars were starting to leave from there. So I thought I should probably move my car from there. I'm over in this parking garage looking down on Janice Live, which used to be Janice Landing, which was a venue back in the day. I saw Bouncing Souls there. I believe Snuff was the opening act. Bouncing Souls. Snuff used to be Guns and Wankers was the original name of that band, and they changed their name. They opened up, then Bouncing Souls, and then No Effects on the Heavy Petting Zoo tour. I guess I could, if I ever found Heavy Petting Zoo on vinyl from No Effects, I could get it in this particular area because I have memories of that album being played with the Souls right over there in Janice Landing, which is behind those buildings tucked away in that little courtyard. Like this. I love St. Pete right here, really close to where the State Theater used to be, now called the Florida Theater. It was many years ago, back when it was the State Theater, but went to probably over 100 shows, mostly punk rock shows inside of there. I guess if I was to find a No Use for a Name album from that era, I saw No Use for a Name in here. Of course, they have not been around for a long time. The singer passed away many, many years ago, but great band on Fat Records. Oh, look at this little thing. Look at this little golf cart right here. Also, these are the little drainage ditch manholes. Let me get out of the way there. You got this little Pelican. City of St. Pete drain with the Pelican. Manny, look at a Pelican. Fly, Pelican. Walking around now, the Coliseum has a World Oddities. I think I've been to one of these World Oddities Expos. And they're, I think it's a lot of taxidermy. But since I'm over here in the area, they're going on till 7. The Coliseum World Oddities Expo. Right over here inside this old train station looking place. All right, walking in, there's a big baby doll head right here. Kind of reminds me of in Mexico when I went to Doll Island. This actually might not be the same event I went to in the past. an everyday throw Michael Myers right there. Look at this little thing. I think the one I went to last year was like all taxidermy and not other stuff. I like a good mixture. Just when it's all taxidermy, it's a little too much for me. A zebra skull. Creepy magnet. You got Frankie there, but it's really James Dean. It's like a mashup of James Dean and Frankie. There's Dracula, there's Bella. Oh my goodness. There's Ed Gein. Goodbye, kitty. You can get an emergency chicken right here, or an emergency goat. Barely hear it, but oh, look at this. Emergency Bigfoot, emergency monkey, emergency cat. Do a cat fight. I don't think that's working. Let me do a howl. I kind of hear it. Looks like they got like a little freak show going on over here. A little performance, a little sideshow. That's the word I'm looking for. Sideshow. We got little monkey shines here. A little clapping monkey right there.
There you go. Yeah, everyone here from the thank you so much. Once again, follow the cloud.
Little stained glass area here. I was looking at this bat right there. $70 for that one. There's a goat head. They're two-headed deer. This is cool. Impossible Curiosities is the name of the company. $150 for that one. It's nice. This little toadstool frog right there. I like this ghost down here also. Ooh, I like this map. That's cool. All right, that was interesting. Got a nice little view at some things. Again, I've been to that before, but I think last time was like the Tampa Fairgrounds, and it was way bigger. And there was a lot more taxidermy. That was like a good, healthy mix of half vendors selling haunted Halloween horror stuff and taxidermy. So, right here next to this church. Coliseum's over there. Church here with the stained glass. Can't really see what the stained glass shows, but next door. That is a, look at that, it's a little parking enforcing vehicle right there. Look at that, it's got a pelican on the side. That thing's hauling butt. He's got to give tickets to someone. To this park, I've never been to this park before. There's like a really interesting stage right here with the backdrop of the church cathedral. Look at the stage. It's kind of futuristic looking. Right? Big open courtyard. Got some birds over here. They're eating something. These storks, pigeons, being fed. Somebody's feeding them something, or they're just eating. I don't know what they're eating. They're going to town on something. That bird right there was just chowing down. Little seagull. All right, see you, seagull. This is kind of a spooky looking tree right here. Yeah, I didn't want to start driving back too early with the traffic and everything. Usually a Saturday afternoon kind of turns into weekday-ish type of traffic. So I waited a little bit. I think it's getting late enough in the day where I can start heading back. And walk over here to the boat dock. Peruse around a little bit before heading back to the car and then driving back to Celebration. It's definitely a nice time of the day. Not too hot anymore. The sun will be setting in the relatively near future. A little beautiful view of the St. Pete skyline here across the boat dock. Nice clouds going on up there, palm trees. It's a beautiful, beautiful late afternoon, early evening. Ahead there is the first airline pilot, Tony Janice. Janice Landing, or Janice Live, named after him, which is the venue I showed earlier. There's a little sculpture here with Mr. Janice flying through the air right over here on the boat dock. Or on the pier, I should say. All right, making it back over into Celebration. Made pretty good time, about an hour and a half. I waited late enough to where traffic was not too bad. Here at the light here on Celebration Boulevard, pulling off of I-4. Back into town. Yeah, a good commute over and a good commute back. Timed it perfectly. All right, back home now. Got a few things. Had a good day in St. Pete. Walking around, checking out the Tampa Bay Rays garage sale that was completely over. By the time I got there at noon, 2 hours before it was supposed to end, there was not one thing left. I brought this with me to bring in there. I was going to load it up with some stuff. Didn't use it for any Rays stuff, but that's okay. Was not a wasted trip. I got a Planet Retro shirt. I got a little Easter Island tiki from the vintage shop, like that. Put it over somewhere here in the homestead. Also got this tiki, which I like. Also got the pink Lincolns there. Test pressing right there. AFI Black Sails in the Sunset. And when I returned home, I ordered this in the mail. My favorite, not even close to a second favorite, Bruce Springsteen album, Nebraska. Wanted this on vinyl for a long time. One of my favorite driving records. Whenever I'm riding, cruising along, I'll throw Nebraska on. It's just really a different kind of album for Springsteen. Yeah, I really like it. I always wanted to get this on vinyl. I thought about it the other day. I said, let me order that online. So I did. And there it is. Nebraska. So picked that up, ordered that through the mail. Picked all this stuff up in person. Vinyl collection slowly growing. And glad I got this. I think if you're going to have a Springsteen vinyl, this is the one you need. It's definitely a different style than the other Springsteen albums. This is the only one I even own. But I like it. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. The vlog is over. Man, I wish I could have got something at that, but what are you going to do? Drove all the way over there. Didn't get anything. It was all gone.